Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
We got it! We got it!
New 52 booklet.
Somebody clip this.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Teladia Plays. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Under Two Capes episode. This one is very, very exciting topic.
Yeah, it's very special. And I had Teladia on for the obvious reasons that we're talking about Superman. But so we're talking about the edgiest versions of Superman. Now, what this is springing from is an article that came out on Screen Rant, an interview of Jason Aaron talking about, because Jason Aaron is writing the Absolute Superman book, and the writer, the Screen Rant article was like interviewing him and asking what his new book is going to be like. And he's basically going full edgelord with Superman. So I figured first we'll like go through the article briefly, and then we'll discuss it. Then we're going to go over some of the variants of Superman that have been the craziest versions of Superman. So we got here, DC Comics is making a bold change in Superman, the upcoming All In. It's going to overhaul its greatest heroes in a new world simply called the Absolute Universe. The world is built on dark side energy. I still don't know what the hell that is. The Absolute Universe is an Earth where the heroes lack many of the comforts of their Prime Universe counterparts. Batman has no money and Wonder Woman has no island. But we have the Man of Steel. Superstar writer Jason Aaron sat down with Screen Rant to talk about it, so let's do that.
Okay.
He did a story for Jason Aaron did for Action Comics where the entire city of Metropolis is like infected essentially with a Bizarro virus and turns everyone into Bizarro versions of themselves.
Bizarro is basically Bizarro World.
Kind of. It's pretty much that. So, Screen Rant talked about that. So I'm going to skip through where it's talking about his regular Action Comic stuff. So, because that was just talking about essentially the other stuff he wanted to do, DC. So the question was, at the Absolute Power panel the other day, Scott Snyder talked about removing the comforts of these heroes and trying to discover what's consistent with their characterization. Was it hard finding what still makes Clark Superman with these things removed? So Jason Aaron says, in short, no, because I've learned who Superman is as long as I can read. I struggle with talking about this because I'm super excited about to talk about it, and I don't want to give away any secrets, but everything fits together. Like I talked about it at the panel, when we showed the image of Superman in his costume, the costume is very different in a lot of ways. Parts of it glow, as we saw with the gauntlets and the boots.
Yeah.
His hair is long. His cape looks very, very different. All those things are not just cosmetic choices. There's a reason why the cape looks like that. I'll give you a little bit of tidbit. I'll say is, look at the cape. It's got a gradient texture. It's literally wearing the dust from Krypton. Now, what's cool about that is it's kind of like all of Krypton fights alongside Superman.
Yeah, it's interesting that they went with that and not did like a normal cape. Mind you, it's not. I think it looks he's gonna have a much longer cape than other iterations where it was a lot shorter by the knees, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also wonder, do we think we're gonna have the S emblem on the cape or no?
I don't know yet. Oh, these stupid ads keep like turning things into a click fest. So here's the image. So as we can see, by the way, I personally like the suit. It's very Henry Cavill inspired, particularly like around here with the belt and stuff. And I like the glowing gauntlets. I'm sorry, that just looks really, really cool.
Black and red is my favorite color.
And notice the cape has a little bit of black on the inside. So it's not like red, it's red and black. My favorite color combination.
Hey, that's my favorite color
Hey,
combination.
there you go, my brother. Well, I could tell by your logo.
Yeah, by my logo. It's literally...
And if you notice, it's got all the lines from like the Henry Cavill suit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron was heavily inspired by Zack Snyder's Superman.
Snyder. Mm-hmm.
Which you could say Zack Snyder's the blueprint.
Of course, the Snyderverse is the
Come
blueprint.
on, stop clicking. So, you didn't just want to make him hot because I have a lot of coworkers, and I won't name names, but we are loving Thirst Trap Superman. That wasn't the intention. Jason Aaron says, no, happy accident, but we're not unaware of that. But you will see why his hair is like that. It has a very specific, profound meaning for who he is and what his personality is. I'm interested to see what that is. So all that being important in the costume is the same as life. Krypton is different. His place in Krypton, his parents' place, and Krypton and his relationship to them. That's all different. How he came to Earth is different. What happened when he got here. The story doesn't start in Metropolis. It just starts in Brazil in a diamond mine. His place in the world has changed. He doesn't have a family. You know what I think it's going to start off with Superman and all that stuff? I wonder if he's going to do more of the saving people from the shadows from like the first few scenes of Man of Steel.
Oh, you know what? I just thought about that. He's a guardian angel.
Essentially that, because when he talks about it, starts off in like a diamond mine, assuming he doesn't show up in the diamond mine, like drop like right in the middle, like arrive there. That would be an interesting thing. It's like they open up, he's like a diamond mine worker, and then like some equipment is about to fall on like one of the other workers, and he like pushes them out of the way, like in Man of Steel, except that was reversed.
I had a thought, what if it's going to be like the Blur from Smallville?
That idea too. It's essentially that idea about how he was still helping people, or it could be because what I think a cool idea, if I were writing this, I could do it where like Krypton was under a military dictatorship and he escaped through like a portal and ended up on Earth. So he's trying to hide out because he knows if he starts using his powers, Krypton is going to notice.
I had a thought though, like what if the opening scene he doesn't have the cape yet, but over time we gradually see the cape once he's out to the public and whatnot.
That's cool. It's like part and part he like grows, he like becomes Superman. In that sense, he has to earn the costume.
Yeah, in
I
a
like
sense,
that.
yeah. In a sense that I think Jason Aaron should take my idea.
Yep, exactly. He should, but his connection to Earth is different. We're meeting Superman, who is a little more raw, a little bit angrier. His powers are more raw, so it's kind of like New 52 Superman in the beginning. So that is really interesting, and why a lot of people are going with the New 52 comparison. Which Teladia and I were talking about this before we started recording. Thing about it is that the New 52 Superman was a little more angry, at least in the beginning, and a little more unsure of himself. And this is sounding a lot like that, particularly when we get to like the Wonder Woman design. Like, I'm sorry, short of the tattoos, that's pretty much the New 52 design.
Yeah, agreed.
With the silver W there. I like that. So first, also, he's the first Superman writer to live in Kansas. But anyway, so here's what we got with the character designs. The Batman is still growing on me, but so far, Wonder Woman is the best. Wonder Woman is like the GOAT costume design right there.
And I love the Superman emblem, and I love the fact that Superman has got the collar. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, he does have the collar. That's cool. And look at the glue. That is just so cool. What if that's like... So New 52 Superman back in the day had this solar flare ability where he could like expel all the solar radiation in his body in like a big blast, and then it would like obviously he has to recharge. What if that's showing he's fully charged?
Oh, I just had a thought. What if it's like one of his abilities where he uses his arms as like an optic blast type of thing, like Cyclops? Instead of his eyes, it's his arm gauntlets.
Or what if Superman does the whole this thing from Wonder Woman?
I can see that, but I think like him just doing like this.
Shooting stuff out of his arms could be cool.
Something doing like this. Cool. Look,
So we point out that everything about it is on purpose. So I like that like there see, this is the other thing I will give at the Absolute Universe, at least according to what the writers say. Now you can't always trust that, but I just want to bring up here, it's interesting seeing like the amount of thought that went into this, because here is the thing. As much as I love the new 52 era of comics, the problem with it is that it's very obvious they didn't put much thought into it because it was like a short thing. Now, granted, they didn't have a lot of time because AT&T had just said, improve your sales or we're shutting you down. But I understand. So I understand where they're coming from. I just wish they had more time to like iron out the details and not like tack it onto a Flash story. But besides that, I think this looks pretty cool. So in terms of like edginess, see, here's the thing. I think a lot of comic book fans associate edginess with going through any type of character struggle, hence a character arc. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think like it depends on the story arc, but I think when it comes down to this Superman, I think what we'll see from him, it'll be a completely different take. And I think what would be really cool and really special about this Superman is something that we've never seen before in other Superman comics. And I don't think, I mean, like New 52, Post Crisis, Earth 2, even Earth 2 Superman, you know, not Val Zod, but the Kal-El one, right? The one where he I wouldn't say he before he died, right? He was kind of edgier there, and also the Bizarro Kal-El, where he was really dark and he had the red and black costume, right? In Earth 2. So imagine that.
I
twist.
love that red and black costume. Now,
imagine that twist though with this Superman, right?
But I don't think he's gonna be like the son of Darkseid, if that's what you're saying.
Not like the son of Darkseid, but like more along the lines of him being ruthless.
I don't think he'll be ruthless. I think he'll be a little more aggressive. Let me put it that way. And Aaron basically confirmed that when he said he's more angry and stuff. So I understand that. Now, the thing is, again, DC has a fantastic opportunity with this. Fantastic to get people on board. The thing is, will DC actually follow through? Because here's the problem. When DC does an initiative, they could say they're all in, all they want, pun intended. But ultimately, I'm not going to necessarily believe it until we're like past 6 months. Once we're past 6 months to a year, maybe I'll say, okay, we may have, they're committed. Because honestly, I expect this to last 6 months to a year. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I would say 6 months to a year as well. What's really interests me the most about this is the dark energy that's surfacing around this universe.
The Darkseid energy. It's the idea that they wanted to bring Darkseid back to being the main big bad of the DC universe, which I like. I definitely enjoy that. Restore the Snyderverse.
We will use the old ways.
Yeah, essentially that. Yeah, and ultimately, by the way, so here's the quote I'm going to end this segment with. So this person asked, what do you want them to take away from this new era and this new Superman? This is me swinging for the fences. This is far and away the biggest DC thing I've done. Maybe the biggest DC thing I ever do. It's the same way my time at Marvel will forever be defined forever by my run on Thor. I want this to be the same thing. If I only get to write one DC book, I think I could die happy because of how much my heart and how much of the new wild stuff we're putting into this. At the same time, this is my love letter to DC Comics, to this character in particular. I hope it shows Superman is deeply, deeply important. When we're talking about this being a new version of Superman, this version is a little bit more dangerous and a little bit more raw. So edgy. There you go. I like that.
I like the fact that he's a little bit more dangerous. Now, what I think is it's going to have like a similar taste to Volume 1 of New 52 Superman.
Most likely. in terms of
That's-
in terms of the Grant Morrison run, most likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now I wonder, before he gets the suit, will he have jeans and a t-shirt?
I don't think so. I think he's gonna. I think he's arriving with the suit.
Okay.
Because remember, ostensibly he's arriving as an adult, so he's not going to be raised here
As a baby, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll probably happen is that he'll show up in the suit, and then maybe later the cape will like materialize, as you say, because I think the suit will be capeless at first, and then the cape starts to like unfurl.
But if you scroll up, right, if you take a look at the promotion image of All In, he doesn't have the cape there.
That's why I think the cape comes later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see it here.
Yeah, it's like you can see it there, but I wonder, will he be like the 1940s Superman, where he's been able to jump from one like being able to jump in a single bound, or will it be like the Fletcher's cartoon, or do you think, or will it be like New 52 Superman in terms of he can do everything else? That's the very important key factor, because if he's only able to leap in a single bound and to have only a limited amount of powers, I think this would be a very interesting story to tell as an edgy Superman. Just think about that, Jared.
Mm-hmm. I would say so, yeah. In terms of like his power level, I don't think we know enough about that to really like hammer down what we want to go with. But I think in terms of power, I think they'll keep it like maybe baseline, or they'll can only jump tall buildings in a single bound. So that's really what I think. Now, the first edgy Superman that I would like to talk about is actually the post-crisis Superman, because here's the thing, and Nick sent this image in our comments group chat. So, Teladia, in the death of Superman, Clark was depowered, so we had to fight somehow, right?
Sorry?
So in the death of Superman, he had to fight. Now look at what he geared up with.
Guns.
Don't tell the anti-Snyder fans. But he loaded up, and I love that the image before this was, if there's one thing I learned from Boy Scouts, always be prepared. He's got like a crap ton of guns and bandoliers and stuff.
I wanted to ask, right? This is something I've never asked you before.
Mm-hmm.
What's with is that ammo on his shoulders?
Yeah, it's a bandolier.
Okay. It's a bandolier, okay. We never saw that in the animated movie, but I just wanted to wonder.
No, because there's a lot wrong with that Death of Superman movie, but in terms of this, see, this is the cool version, because in this he couldn't even fly. He had jet boots.
Jet boots?
Yeah, in the recovery suit, he could still fly, like, and he regained his flight powers, but the suit itself had like jet boots on it.
You know what? This makes this Superman look cool.
Now, the one thing I would add, a beard. Can you imagine long-haired Superman in the black suit strapped to the brim with firearms?
I wish I could get you the Henry Cavill with the beard and the long hair and everything.
That would be freaking dope. Yeah, so that's the first one that we're going to talk about. And I wanted to start off with that because that's like the image I always go with whenever I say, oh, Superman is the most wholesome guy. He's not like the most edgy version of Superman. And it's interesting when you think about it. And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, right? Like the way not actually. I was gonna say, you know, this iteration of the black suited Superman, I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they brought it for the newer comics, which is the Absolute Power universe, but I don't think they did that, did they? Which they used the guns and all of that.
No, they still have the black suit, but it's not like he's carrying guns. By the way, it's black because it's actually a solar regeneration suit. So you know how like the color black absorbs like solar radiation more. So it's like if you walk outside in the summer day on all black, you like basically are like really hot. that's why. It's the idea that like the color black absorbs sunlight.
Yeah. But I just wonder though, like with this suit, I think this is probably one of the edgiest thing I saw in the 90s. I know that, right?
Mhm.
And how much of an impact it had in pop culture was kind of a big deal, right?
In terms of the death of Superman, oh yeah, no character died now because they
Yeah.
would just come back immediately afterwards. That is where you can measure it. Death in all of comics went down. So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and the one line he says, "Over my dead body," that is really, really edgy in the comic, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a list of like the top 20 alternate Superman, and we're gonna start with the real world Superman. So the real world's books, Teladia, was this concept of our world. These characters aren't real; they're real in terms of like comic books. And it's talking about like maybe the pop cultural impact of the characters. Now the Superman. This is actually really funny. So his name is Eddie Dial. He was in prison, and that's where he buffed up and became a neighborhood like tough guy / arguably crime boss.
Wow.
But he got a redemption at the end of the story, but but he had no superpowers whatsoever. And the thing is like the bully saw that he wanted to be a hero, so they tattooed the Superman S onto his chest. So that was a forceful tattoo.
That's pretty cool.
Next one, Golden Age Superman. Oh yeah, was this guy edgy? Because this is the guy to lot, and by this is Action Comics 1 Superman. This is the guy that like he was constantly fighting against government corruption. He was the champion of the oppressed, as Britt always calls it on our show. And this was the template for Action Comics' new 52 Grant Morrison Superman. It was this concept of him being a social crusader first, and then he grew into being a superhero.
Fun fact, this was actually Earth 2 Superman.
Yeah, technically it's Earth 2 Superman. Exactly. That is correct. And it says here, of course, Superman may have impressed the world when he first debuted with his ability to run faster than a locomotive and leap tall buildings, but compared to the other counterparts on the list, he's fairly weak. Not really. This is the one who can't fly and can be harmed by nukes. So then we have Cyborg Superman, Hank Henshaw, who is very much like... So the idea about Hank Henshaw is that he was an astronaut. So he was a Fantastic Four joke. Now what I mean is that DC did a parody of the Fantastic Four where they sent 4 people into space. They got blasted by cosmic radiation, but instead of like getting superpowers, they all died. Because that's realistically what would happen. And Hank Henshaw rebuilt his body with computers and basically reconstructed the other parts of his body to resemble Superman. And then he was going around telling people he is the real Superman.
Fun fact, in that image, he's got the Henry Cavill Superman logo.
Yeah, he does. That is pretty much the Henry Cavill Superman logo. That's well, thank you. So we have Superstar combines Superman's strength with the awesomeness of a dinosaur. No,
Now can we skip this one because
skipping Jurassic League?
Yeah, because of obvious reasons.
No, let me put it this way: nothing against Jurassic League. I'm just not a fan. Lex Luthor being Superman. This was actually a cool idea, and this was actually in Dark Side War was where this started.
Yes,
where. I'm not going to talk about Dark Side War because we're still going to cover that. But the thing about this, which is really cool about this, is that so when New 52 Superman died, Lex wanted to assume the mantle of Superman and get like the people's adoration. So he put on a suit like this, and the cape he's wearing, that's New 52 Superman's cape. Originally, it was like put up in the Daily Planet as like a memorial. But what happened is that Lex Luthor bought the Daily Planet so he could have the cape.
That's Lex for you.
And then post-crisis, Superman showed up and made him give up the cape, essentially. And this was like, they had a cool story, but it wasn't like my favorite. Then we have Super Soldier, the amalgam of Captain America and Superman. And the idea is the idea for this. So being the Amalgam comics, he's a bit weaker than the latter. In the Amalgam, Clark Kent gained into Hanson's. Wait, he got many of Superman's powers thanks to cells from an alien corpse. So the government harvested alien DNA and injected them into Clark Kent. And then he became Super Soldier. By the way, this article is really proofread very poorly. I'm just going to tell you that right there. So then Dark Knight Returns Superman.
31.
This is the one that was having sex with Wonder Woman and causing like tidal waves and stuff because of that. But all right. But this is also the one that like served the U.S. government. This is the one that gets the reputation of being a government lackey. Now the problem, and what's up, JJheat?
Flame on. How's everybody doing?
Good. So we're just talking about the edgiest version of Superman. Now the thing about this book about Dark Knight Returns Superman, at least say what you want about Dark Knight Strikes Again. At least Frank gave a legitimate reason why Superman was working for the government. They essentially have his family captive.
Pretty much. Which
So
the animated movie didn't go into any detail at all. Like I was kind of expecting that. Now, great, it's a solid film, solid adaptation. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the common perception is that Superman is such a Boy Scout that that element gets taken out, and no one questions it.
Probably, I would say so. So then we have Steel, which he's just unless he's being played by Shaquille O'Neal, he's basically Iron Man combined with Superman. Yeah,
You couldn't hold it in.
That look on JJheat's face is all I needed. That's all I needed.
You couldn't hold it in, could you, Jared?
So then we have post-crisis Superman. DC downgraded Superman, but only briefly. Oh, you mean Coward Superman? This is the one that was hiding on his ass during tornadoes in the Superman Lois and Clark book in Rebirth.
Hey, this one, shout out to Tevia. This is the Coward Superman.
Yeah, there you go. And this is the one that died. And written by John Byrne, who I've gone over why John Byrne is not a writer to be emulated. But anyway, which this is the Superman where they kind of depowered him at first. Because remember, OG Superman was pulling planets on a solar system on a chain. So it's like, when you think about it, you do have to downgrade him a little bit. Electric Blue Superman.
We don't talk about this era.
No, yes, we do, because Electric Blue Superman is actually pretty cool.
In concept.
It's the idea, Teladia, that so Superman, when he was revived, his powers started to malfunction until his body turned into pure energy. So he has to be in that containment suit.
And this is where John Kent got his powers.
So that's where the concept came from. That's where the concept came from. Yeah. So then we get Ultraman. Yeah, this is the evil super. This is the evilest of evil Superman. Where I love what they did in the new 52, where they made it so he snorted kryptonite like it's cocaine.
And just like that, we're demonetized. And just like that, we're demonetized.
Don't worry. But it's the idea that, like, so this is the Superman. So the idea is Kal ill as an ill intention was sent to Earth. He crash lands. Martha and Jonathan are in the middle of a violent fight with knives, and the baby Clark shows up and goes, "You will be my parents." And then at the end, he just kills them. And then this is also the one where Lois Lane is a Superwoman, otherwise known as Evil Wonder Woman. So it's kind of interesting how the evil version of Wonder Woman is a Lois.
Wait. I thought they just used her name. Did they just use the name, or is she just an amalgam of the two?
I think she's an amalgam of the two. Still counts.
Why?
Evil? No, it's fine. They made her evil, and then Grail killed her. I'm fine with that. Bizarro, which it's just reverse Superman, essentially. It's like the reverse Flash. So there's that. But as you know, in Superman Returns the game, you can play as Bizarro.
You can. Yeah. I think he was DLC though.
Yeah, no. I got that when you switch to him. He goes, "Me destroy city because me am hero." It was really fun. That again, underrated game. Then we get to Flashpoint Superman. Now, this was an interesting one where, so Superman's ship in the Flashpoint universe crash landed in the middle metropolis and nuked it, essentially.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why all of a sudden it nuked, but it didn't nuke Smallville when he landed. But the point is, it did. And he was captured by the government, hence, which is why he's so emaciated. Now he leaves at the end of Flashpoint and like, hi, do you find it on Flashpoint Beyond? So, Teladia, you know the whole story in Invincible where Omni-Man was sent as an agent to prepare the way for an invasion?
Yeah.
That's him. He was sent to Earth to prepare the way for a Kryptonian invasion that happens in Flashpoint Beyond.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's actually really cool. Unfortunately, we never see it.
God.
At that
But-
point, you can't really blame them at that point because, like Batman Who Laughs, the Flashpoint Batman, Thomas Wayne, excuse me, they had pretty much dragged that character out in just about every appearance. Tom King's run alone is enough to make you sick of the character.
We did not mention his name.
No. He's not he who must not be named. He's fine.
Voldemort.
You're just baiting me to say it.
But still, regardless, right? I think I would have loved to have seen Kryptonians try to invade Earth. I think that would be pretty cool in the miniseries.
Mm-hmm. That could be really cool. Britt and I may be writing a fanfic involving Flashpoint, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So more on that. There's a vampire Superman. Oh yeah, DC versus vampires. Was that any good, JJheat?
Not as good as Deceased, but Rosenberg. I'm not going to say Rosenberg is a bad writer. I will never say that about anybody unless if I say someone's a bad writer, they're a really bad writer.
Mm-hmm.
But Rosenberg, excuse me, he's not bad. It's very cliche. Like Grayson's spoilers for the original comic. Grayson's betrayal, you could see coming. Batman being unalived, you could see coming. About halfway through the book, you kind of piece it together. And it's too cheeky and comedic at places.
Wait,
but
Batman's alive in this?
No, he died in the first comic. He's killed by Nightwing at the very end.
You know, I thought you said Batman's alive.
No, not okay. He's alive in the majority of the first book, but he's killed by Nightwing in the ending.
Okay, I see.
But say what you will about the whole Nightwing leading the vampires, but that was set up in a spin-off comic, which really should have been part of the main book. And now I'm all for horror and vampire action. The action is solid in DC versus vampires. Don't get me wrong. But we really should have taken the time to slow down and actually build how Grayson becomes a vampire. Rosenberg was just doing too much too fast. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. Then we get to New 52.
Yeah.
Our boy. It's our, for some reason, these ads. It's our boy.
How is he not in the top 20?
I know. So this has got for his solar flare ability alone, where he expels all of the solar energy in his body in like this big faux nuclear blast. It's not a nuke, but it's close to it. The cool part about it is to like what's the word? The cool part about it is that so to balance it, Teladia, he is powerless for 24 hours after using his solar flare ability.
Yeah, that I read that.
So that is really cool. Yeah, and I liked how they gave him a power, but they also gave him a weakness because they could have easily just said, "Oh yeah, he can explode like a nuclear bomb now."
And mind you, he's got the collar.
Yes, and I cannot stress this enough. It's not armor. People think it's armor because it has those lines and segments, but if you actually read the Grant Morrison book where he picks it up, it ain't armor. It's an actual suit.
Wait, who thought the New 52 designs were armor based?
A lot of people.
The gun fans.
Like Tevia, there's like a comic historian did. There's plenty of people in there, but I'm just like, it's not armor. It's clearly established in the book that it's not armor.
It may have a metallic aesthetic, but even I can tell just by looking at it, it's not armor.
Yeah, I get the way. I get a lot of people thought it was because of like the lines and the segmented look of it, but no, it's not. It's not that.
Maybe a little extra padding, but I wouldn't say it's armor. At least from a design standpoint.
Yeah, it's not armor, but I do like that suit though. I'll give it that. Overman was Superman raised by the leader of Germany during World War II. That's all I'm going to say about that because I don't know how YouTube works with this stuff. Moving on.
Let's get that.
Yes! Brutal!
This is the one I was talking about before, Jared.
Our boy Brutal.
Isn't he basically Earth 2 Bizarro?
Yeah.
Except he later... and so he's a clone... So, Teladia, do you know the full story of Earth 2?
That Superman sacrifice dies. All
right, here's the story of Superman. So he dies against Steppenwolf. He doesn't. He's captured and taken to Apocalypse where he's cloned. That's the clone. And what happens is when the Wonders, which is essentially the Earth 2 JSA / Justice League, go to Apocalypse, they find him strung up. And then he sacrifices himself to save them. And then he gives his S logo to Power Girl. And that's how she fills in the boob window and becomes Supergirl in the new 52, at least.
Didn't they end up having her be his adopted daughter in the new 52 rather than his cousin?
I think so. I want to say yes. I think so. But that's essentially that story. I don't know why there's so many hyperlinks here.
I'm just surprised Omni-Man nor Homelander were on this list, not gonna lie.
You need ad blockers, man. Ad blockers.
Well, if I do ad blocker, guess what? Oh, by the way, this is a cheap shot drawing Injustice Superman like Henry Cavill. Look at that face. Hang on. Like, WTF. But anyway, Injustice Superman, he's not that powerful. Let me put it this way. He's not more powerful than any other Superman.
More influence in the hero community? Yes. Instigates a power grab and a metahuman civil war? Also yes. But power-wise, he's about the same as any other version. The only difference is he's not holding back. You could
kind of go with that as maybe the reason why he's he's powerful, but he's nowhere near more powerful than New 52. Again, he's just another how are they ranking this list? Because all these guys is like different versions of Superman. It's not like one's more powerful. They're like all 40 versions ranked from weakest to strongest. I'm like, no, how is Red Sun stronger? Actually, I want to read this. Red Sun is fairly powerful. Unfortunately, he wasn't raised by a kindly farmer family taken by the Soviet Union. He took on an army of Green Lanterns, swats of Amazons, and villains. That's just the writer being like
lazy.
No, but oh my gosh. I'm like, that's the reason why the stuff he does. Because New 52 took on 2 Kryptonians, took on the God of the Sun. Yeah.
And took on Supergirl.
Yeah. Val Zod is more powerful than Clark. He's just as powerful as Superman who preceded him. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of Earth and is personally trained by Red Tornado. Oh, that's why. He's personally trained by Earth 2 Lois Lane. That's why.
Get out of here with that.
That's why. So then we have...
Wait, I forgot about this character. Jesus.
Me too. He was even in like the run, the recent Dawn of DC run. It's Kenan Kong, the Superman of China. So thanks to a government experiment, Kenan Kong could channel Clark's life force or chi to gain 8 of Superman's powers.
I get the mysticism aspect, but this was just...
Wait a second. Kenan doesn't have his vulnerability to magic. Okay, you could kind of say maybe he's stronger because he's not vulnerable to magic. Wait. Everyone's vulnerable to magic. What are you talking about? I don't understand this. Moving on. Who's Super Doom? Not that Super Doomed.
Hold on.
That's Earth 45 Superman lied to Superman until Super Doom was thought into existence. He's a terrifying thought-powered creation who only grows more powerful the more people think about it. Oh, that is terrifying. Oh, it's a Grant Morrison invention. That's why. That's why it's kind of crazy. But wow. That's interesting. Calvin Ellis, basically President Superman. Is it because he's president of the United States? Is that one of the reasons? Out there it is. He's on top of his traditional Superman level strength. He's an out-of-the-box skill fire. His leadership, okay, I'll give you that. An advanced power level. You just said he's pretty much as powerful as Superman. How does he have an advanced power level? Moving on. Eradicator. This was one of the other cringe parts of the Reign of the Superman movie. When they have Wonder Woman, they're trying to play Wonder Woman as bloodthirsty. So they have her like, oh, I'm more partial to the Superman with the glasses.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was actually a line. So I'm like,
That's cringe.
Superboy. How
is Superboy on this list? Like,
wait. He's a version of Superman. How is he more powerful than New 52 Superman?
I mean, telekinesis. I mean, he has certain stats.
No. He's Superboy, not Superman. Like, come on, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit he's more popular, but really, if you're really going to compare the two, oh god, we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, last son of Earth, Superman has the might of the Green Lantern, so he becomes a Green Lantern. That is cool. Okay, no, this one I will give you is it would be uber powerful because combine the powers of Superman with a Green Lantern ring. No, that counts. That one I'm good with. Check out Kingdom Come Superman. Yes, he is strong. I will give you that. And he's an awesome Superman at that. I will give it that. But again, can we get it? We got a Watchmen animated movie inexplicably. Can we get a Kingdom Come animated movie?
Okay, first of all, Kingdom Come is almost impossible to adapt, or if you do, it's not going to have the same implication because that story has not the art style alone is highly detailed. Second of all, that Kingdom Come has a lot of religious allegories in it, which you would have to trim down. I mean, it's a worthy undertaking, but if it goes wrong, it'll really go wrong, and the internet will let you have it. So if you're going to adapt Kingdom Come, tread wisely.
You need to find an animation style that's very close to like the Alex Ross style. Kind of like how they did it with Apocalypse, where it was very heavily inspired by Michael Turner. So then the Donnerverse Superman is surprisingly powerful. Yeah, he can fly back in time by flying backwards. That counts. I'll give it that. So it's essentially the Superman of the movie. So the Milkman is a threat to all reality. So after being born to two women that didn't exist, the interdimensional company Retcon combined the child with the Superman archetype to be the ultimate enforcer. Milkman Man, that's his name. Milkman Man is about the strength of regular Clark, but with the added ability to rewrite reality. So he's Mixie?
Pretty much. This was a very meta comic.
I'm calling BS on this one. He's half human. Diluted DNA. John is not that strong.
Okay, why are they trying to turn? Okay, I understand the type of the children having potential to surpass their parents in unique ways, but don't turn this character into a Saiyan or Viltrumite archetype. It just doesn't work in this context.
That's what they're trying to do. Okay, so then we get to our next one. Okay, so Teladia, anything you have to say about how this one being more powerful than New 52 Superman?
No, this is not the most powerful Superman compared to New 52. This list is wrong. John Kent deserves to be number 40 on this list.
Yeah, he should. Because here's the thing, and I said this when Tom Taylor did an interview and said that John Kent's more powerful than Clark, I did a video saying, okay, so the way DNA works is that the more diluted it gets, the less viable it is, or like with the powers and stuff. So how is he more powerful if this guy, who shouldn't even exist because Kryptonian human DNA is incompatible, how does this work where he's more powerful than Superman? And they say one day, no, he'll never be more powerful, because I get the feeling he won't be a character all that long.
We can blame Dan Jurgens on that one.
No, we can blame Peter J. Tomasi on that one. Tangent Comics, Superman uses his head. Whoa, Tangent. Like everyone else in the Tangent universe, the only thing this Superman shared with the Man of Steel was his name. Rather than gain his powers from alien physiology and be incredibly strong, Harvey Dent?
No, not that Harvey Dent.
Yeah, used this hyper-evolved psychic abilities and cunning nature to become Earth-9's indisputable ruler. Mark Millar, that explains it. Cryptothrax. All right, so Teladia. So they did this thing called Tales of the Dark Multiverse, which was all these different DC stories, but they all have to go wrong. So remember in Dark Knight's metal, when they got that like white armor that's supposed to like help them beat Barbados? In this, it mutated them into creatures. Diana became like a Gorgon, where she can turn into stone. Superman became this creature right here, the Cryptothrax. And they're also massive creatures. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Superboy Prime. He should be in the top 5 because he punched reality and punched Jason Todd back to life.
And he brought
Welcome punch.
Red gun punch.
And he also kind of almost killed Superboy, but never did.
Yeah, he did.
What he did? Okay, technically Connor succumbed to his wounds, but yeah, Superboy
wounds inflicted by him. He did. Now, do you know how he came back to life?
That fight was a massacre. Jesus Christ.
So do you know how he came back to life? So they threw him in the device in the Kryptonian healing chamber, but because of his like human DNA, it took like thousands of years for it to work. So when Superman was helping the Legion of Superheroes fight Superboy Prime, that's when Superboy like opened up that's when the regeneration was complete. And it turns out so Superboy was in the time period of the Legion of Superheroes. That's why it was in the lead up to Final Crisis. I know this because I have the omnibus.
I've got to read that comic.
It's really good. So then All-Star Superman. Yes, this is basically Silver Age Superman. So yeah, extremely powerful. And then post-rebirth Superman has made Clark mightier than ever. No, he's not. This is the coward Superman. This is the coward Superman.
I agree.
So, pre-crisis Superman. Yes, this is the one that was carrying chains and stuff. So there's that. Strange Visitor Superman takes Clark to new levels of godhood. What's this one? Superman has been shown to grow stronger the longer he lives, but none as much as this version. The Strange Visitor was a Superman who lived for eons, growing more and more powerful all the while. This version was immortal and could even change reality around him through sheer force of will.
I think this was during DCYOU, because I think I remember this story.
It's from Adventures of Superman in 2014, so probably. Superman was turned into a zombie, then spent years inside the Yellow Sun. Deceased! This is the deceased Superman, Clark, who flew into the sun and like tried to like absorb the sun, but then they like revived him with the cure. Yeah, this one was pretty powerful because it was just absorbing solar radiation. Superman Prime became the future's strongest hero. Correct me if I'm wrong, JJheat, but isn't Superman Prime pretty much All-Star though?
Pretty much.
I thought they said that they're the same dude.
I cannot. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah, because I thought that at least according to the Grant Morrison Justice League run, which that could have changed, it was the idea that when the Justice League it was like 10,000 or 1,000 came in, it was this Superman. And so, All-Star ends Teladio with him being in the sun. So he eventually repaired the sun and emerged, but he's permanently glowing gold because he's in the sun for so many years.
Wow.
But this is a ridiculously god tier powered Superman.
Is
Superman
this-
1 million.
Isn't this the same Superman as Superboy Prime?
No.
All
It's not.
Star.
Because Superboy Prime is called that because he's essentially from our world, where like the DC characters are just comic books,
Okay.
and then eventually they retcon it like, no, he's from Krypton. So continuing on, cosmic armor Superman is the embodiment of heroism itself. Oh yeah,
Yep. Number one, hands down.
This Superman is beyond a mere god and is the idea of heroism in purest form. This robotic hero reacts to the strength of any opponent and increases its own, and it possesses a meta awareness that prevents it from being erased from history. It's truly a boundless, undefeatable Superman. Oh, so you're telling me that the way it works is that if he's fighting a villain that he detects is more powerful than him, he just powers up even more?
Huh? So if only there was a cheaply and lazily written cartoon show that does that exact purpose.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
We'll be talking about that later, JJheat, after this.
I agree.
Or My Adventures with Superman. There's plenty of Man of Steel. So those are the ones that, yeah, this one I'll give you based upon the fact that he can adjust his power level as it goes. Yeah, he is powerful, but like John Kent and Connor Kent being more powerful than at least New 52 Superman, I'm sorry. I do not buy that.
Now, with Connor, you kind of got around with it depending on which version we're talking about, because at least with Connor, he's a direct clone or mix of Superman and Luthor. Kryptonian DNA is very complex. Luthor directly donated the human sample to stabilize his genome, because why wouldn't Luthor do that? The guy's an egomaniac. And yeah, so that kind of balances out. Whereas with John, I mean, they try to explain it in Convergence. Oh, Clark was depowered at the time. Maybe so, but unless
DNA doesn't change.
So unless you went the clone route and it's just a combination of Clark and Lois, it wouldn't work in that context.
Eradicate the Lois half. So and yes, pun intended. Now, JJheat, since you came in late, I want to get your opinion real quick, and then we'll wrap up on Jason Aaron talking about his Superman being like more edgy and angrier and like being different from the traditional Superman.
Okay, because I just looked up this interview the other day. Jason Aaron, decent writer. I'm not going to hold no. Batman Offworld, excellent. Gore the God Butcher, decent, but kind of but the run kind of ended lackluster.
Action Comics. I thought his Action Comics story was actually pretty good.
It was a decent little mini arc. I mean, I'll give it that. It was good. But where was I? Oh yeah. This is Jason Aaron. If you by some chance listen to this video, I implore you, don't try to make Superman. You already have a solid template for any version of Superman, any decently written version of Superman. You're already with DC. You're contracted with them. Just don't. If you want to have this version of Clark be a brooding loner, that's one thing. But don't. This could easily go horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm. I don't anticipate this lasting more than a year, honestly.
I give it 6 months.
6 months to a year is where I'm at in terms of like my thing, because like I told Teladia before you came in, DC does not really stick to their guns. But more on that in a future episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this. So Teladia, let everyone know where that they can find you and what you got coming on your channel. And remember that this is coming out on Friday.
So I've got My Adventure, not My Adventure. Why am I saying My Adventure with Superman?
That's a Freudian slip.
I was gonna say we've got Batman Cape Crusader coming up this Sunday with live reactions with Jared. Where it's episode 3 with Catwoman, and then next week, guys, we will be doing Snyder Fans Read Comics, and it will be part 2 of Trinity War.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how about you, JJheat?
As for me, you can find You can find me at JJheat75 or JJheat Blaze. Stay tuned for my Decamo retrospective, which will finally be coming out sometime this week. Also, New Direction Versus making a prominence. My next collab with Jared will be Kryptonian Empire, so stay tuned for that. And stick around for my gaming content, whether it be Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age, or just more content to come on the channel. So thank you for stopping by.
Hell yeah. In terms of for me, tonight is going to be tonight being Friday night is going to be the interview with Sam Liu, where we do like a big like Q&A with him about his career and such, and just hang out with him, talk about social media and stuff. And in terms of tomorrow being Saturday, we will be discussing, so Britt, JJheat, and our friend Jid and I will be talking about Superman and Wonder Woman's battles against each other, and essentially like the fandoms of both and our opinions of those fandoms. So stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zois and Max about for life. We'll see you later.